theoretically and practically possible to do. So if we put all this together, what are we going to do with it? Well, let's go back to the 10 years we got. We've got about 10 years to build our wealth, to build a dynasty for us. We're not building it for us, we're building it for others, more so than even us ourselves. I know many of you as parents, I would sacrifice everything I had so that my children could have a better life. I truly would do it with it, and you would too. But why sacrifice it for them? Why not make it and share it with them? And that's the opportunity that we have. And now we're talking about the opportunity in Sizzle. And that in itself is greater than the age pill or the senolytic. The best product we have in this business is just exactly that, the business opportunity. So if you can spend your time, work hard, work smart, build a plan, set goals, vision. Where are you at? What are you willing to give up so that you can have what you want that's holding you back? What things are? List them out. Are you willing to have a plan? I mean, you drive someplace that's unknown, you have to have a map or even it's a Google map that's there that tells you how to get there, or you never get there. You don't just drive off and find it. It's the same thing. And so with this, there's a roadmap to success with what we've got with the telling you how to do it, the training from your sponsors. But your responsibility to your downline is like it is to your children. Because if you raise up, the scripture says, if you raise up a child in the way he should go, when he's old, he will not depart from it. That's really true. And you see so much damage here in America and in other countries too, because of the fathers not being responsible and mothers that have tremendous burdens upon them, because not all, of course, but enough of a section of men are not responsible for their children. So mothers are always responsible. They have a burdensome time to do that, but the two of them, with a father and a mother together, sets the standards, sets the goals, teaches good character development, all of that. Okay, that applies to your downline. So you need to be the parent. These people are the kids that are there. What do you do with your kids? You teach them about hygiene, how to take care of themselves, how to go to school, how to do their homework, all of these different things that they're doing. So you got to do the same thing here. Now we have a way of doing that, a method. If you're going to be a big leader, you need to make it, I'll just tell you right now, you need to decide this year, you're going to personally sign, train, and develop 20 new distributors. And for most people that you get into the company, they're not going to stay. And the reason is not you, as long as you do your part. You don't want to be the reason because it's difficult to recruit, but this is the point of business where the fortune is in the follow-up. So when you get someone in as a distributor, if you abandon them, that's love them and leave them, and what do you have? Nothing. So if you take them and you train them and you teach them what to do, and you work with them until they are independent enough that they are doing it on their own, that they don't need you, and you get 20 of those people. How many does it take to get through? To get that many? Maybe you recruit 10 and you get 2, that really do it, or 3. But you just build up. If you've got 20 good ones, if you could do that this year, which you really could, you get 12 months. How many of them does that mean? It's not even 2 a month. You have to get, and you're working with all of them, and some of them will get done, and you end up with 20. You know what you're looking at? That potential right there in graphic terms is probably going to make a 6-figure income for you. How big above 6 figures? A lot. We have people, I'm talking about per year, so if you had a commission check was 100,000 for the year, it'd be pretty good. How about 140,000? Who would like 150? How about 200,000? All those things are there. I've had people who have made that much per month before. So we know how to do it, know how it's there. And so here's the main mission of what you're to do. In network marketing, we are in the business. This is our business. We are in the business of recruiting, training, and developing our downline. If we fall short on any of that, we're not going to be successful. And it's not because the company didn't work. It's not necessarily sponsors, but sponsors have got a huge responsibility. And I see a lot of sponsors that are very irresponsible with their downline. And then they complain because they can't seem to build. Well, they haven't trained them. They don't know what they're doing. And if you don't know it, you can always go offline, do that. And there's some basic things they're doing. And I have a tape that's out, you can get it on YouTube. And it's Tom Mower, you put it in, Sell Like a Professional. You look that up, it's an 1.5-hour presentation. And I show you the perfect way, absolutely correct way to make sales and presentations and closing on what you're doing and how to be most successful with it. And if you take a pen and paper and you write it down, you can have all of those things. I'm going to recap it because it's really a series of threes. And like a sale, you have an opening, a presentation, and a close. When you sell products, that's 3. So then when you sell a product, you find a need, you create doubt, you provide a solution, that's 3 again, see? There's a whole series that goes through like that. I put them in the proper, I tell you how to do it right on this tape. This is what you do. Then I give you practical demonstrations of how it works and how it's done so you can understand it. That's the one big thing that this year we're really going to push on, because what we need to do is we need to get the situation to where we are building big, solid, strong organizations of distributors. And so that means following a pattern. Why reinvent the wheel? It's invented, it's there, but most people don't follow that. Sure, you can go to motivational meetings. I saw Tony Robbins, the most famous motivational speaker, and he, a few years ago, gave a recap of what was a disposable income that you have. And at that time, and this was a number of years ago, he said $500 was a disposable income. How did they know that? People were buying a $500 pack, and they went back and surveyed them, and they found out of all the people that bought it, 97% of them never even opened it when they got home. And yet they paid flights in, hotels, big training fees, bought the tapes. 97% wasn't even open. They put them right next to their tapes on how to get over procrastination, don't you think? And of the 3% left, only half of those, 1.5%, went through them completely. Now that's Tony Robbins' business on doing that. He's got lots of good statements for doing things, but what we have is a sequence of exactly what needs to be done, exactly how to do it, and the tools and all of the things. So probably I'm out of time. I'm getting hurt. So what I'm going to do is tell you, get your rear end gear, because this is the big year for you. And I'll turn the time back to you, Kurt.
Hey, Tom, what a great call. You know, I've just been watching everybody with their comments on Facebook. We've got a lot of people watching, and a lot more that'll be watching the replay of this. You know, there's so many things I want to ask you. And like you said, you know, we've been going on and on. You and I have been talking here for about 1.5 hours since we got started. You know, I think the big question a lot of people have is that, you know, what's the first thing that they need to do? You know, I mean, because even the people that have been in the business for 3, 4, 5 years, you know, a lot of people, they haven't launched their business. And I know that you've got the aptitude in sales. I mean, if they were to go out tomorrow, it's Saturday, what can they do just to kind of, you know, get started? Do they want to dip their toes in the water, or do they want to jump in and swim for it?
Well, you should work with people as long as they're willing to work and they're going to develop, work with them. When they won't do it, then who's next? There's a saying, SW, 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 next. Some will, some won't, so what next? That's the way you need to take a look at it. But when you go out, the most important thing is to have a certain amount of preparation. And you go out and you talk about one thing. That's your target item. It can be a product, or it can be the business opportunity supported by products in the compensation plan. But you go out with one thing that you're presenting to people and how to do it. You could write out a script on what you're going to say. This is what I would do. And I did this with one of my boys when they're 14 and a teenager. and I taught them how to go door to door selling household cleaning products. And I had Derek went and made somewhere around no, it wasn't quite 700 presentations before he missed a single sale. And he's using this exact same thing. And then I have Bob come along. Bob went about 400 presentations where he had 100% closure till he missed a sale. Those were 14-year-old boys selling products that are compete with the stuff that's in the stores, but they were so much better, and they're going door to door in their ATVs. So, but I had them write the presentation out, and actually I kind of wrote it out for them. Then I show them what to study. I showed them how to demonstrate the illustrations to use. And then I said, I walked out, and here's the classic. This answers what you're talking about. I remember we walked out there to the ATV, and they had some paperwork and some samples. So I took my saddlebags off the horse and I threw it over the back of the ATV so they could have, that was sort of like the briefcase as they drove around. And so he looked at me and Derek, he said, "Where do I go?" He didn't know where to go. See, because he didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
And so then I said, okay, we need to draft, and that's what I'm waiting for. Because he was excited. He had his he made the presentation to me a number of times, and I critiqued him on it with it in a very positive way. And then when he was ready, I told him, when you're ready to go. And so he got out there ready to go out and make all this kind of money, and but then didn't know where to go. So I told him the plan and how to work a plan. So he wrote his plan down, how he's going to do, and who are you going to call on first? I said, how about the mayor's wife? He said, oh, no way, she's a witch. And she was too. And kids were all afraid of her and not a pleasant person at all. I said, so who do you know that likes you and knows you the best? And he gave me a list of them. Okay, write your list. There's your list. You talk to the people that care about you, that will give you the courtesy of listening to you, and maybe you're not even making a sale, but you're practicing your presentation, and you'll learn more from your failures than you do from not. So all that's part of the plan, and there's ways of doing those things. It can be quite complicated, but my video tells you about all of those things. So the important thing is have a plan, be prepared. How could you succeed if you don't know what you're talking about? And don't become a little Tom. You'll get analysis paralysis if you think you have to learn everything about these products. Sell the benefits. People don't give a hang about the features. What they care about is the benefits. So sell the benefits, and we'll have tech packs for you so you can reinforce. Here, this is where it comes. They work so you can see it. But you need to get your presentation down cold. Write that down if you're writing down. Get your presentation down cold and deliver it hot.
That's right. That's right.
Do it with it and have a plan of where you're going. And the fortune is in the follow-up. So once you got somebody in and sign, you'll get some retail customers. Great. But you know what? We're in the business of recruiting, training, and developing distributors. And that's what you should be doing.
That's right. And Tom, I've got a copy of that video. I watched it last night, the video that you've been referring back to. And so anybody that's watching this call tonight, if you want to watch that video with Tom, let me know. I'll, just message me on Facebook or email me, and I'll send you over a copy of that training that Tom's talking about. And, Tom, I think, what the message that everybody's getting is that we do have some answers for anti-aging. And if we go out there and we build a huge network, 20 people in 2020, so 20 in 2020, we can really have some spectacular things happen in the next decade, which is what you're saying. If we don't do this, we may be left behind economically, depending on our government to pay for what we're going to be living on.
That's correct. And if you think of this term, if you get 20 good ones that you've trained, maybe you went through 50, maybe you went through 100. I know a sales company they say, what do I do? And they say, go out and make 10 presentations. Guy'd come back and said, how'd you do? I didn't sell anybody. What do I do now? Go make 10 presentations again. Go back, come back. And this is a true story. Never made a sale. What do I do now? Go out and make 10 more presentations. This time he came back and he said, I got one.
Got one.
That is the beginning with this thing. And if you'll do that, these 20 good people that takes a lot of work on, and you got this year to do it, because then you can generate exponential growth. and 20 good people like that working the way that you are and the way that they should be, that 20 people can turn into 20,000 a month for many of you. And now it's not the majority, but how about 2,000? How about 5? How about 10,000 a month? Yeah. And you get to a certain point where you can't afford to work at your job any longer with it. And I've seen that happen with literally hundreds of thousands or thousands of people within my previous company and even here that's doing it. So that's what you need to do to be successful.
All right. Well, Tom, thanks for being with us tonight. You know, I wish you a happy weekend and a happy new year. And I look forward to having you back on the call probably in January before I head down to Australia. I've got a big trip planned down there. I get to get out of this cold weather and go hang out with some really fun people and a great country.
Yeah, I heard on the news this morning that those fires they have down there, they're the biggest in history. And they burned the fire burn area that's from the big burn there is greater than 6 of the states here in America all put together.
Oh no.
And you're headed for it.
Well, let's hope that's all done with by the time I get there, you know, and prayers to all of you down in Australia and wow. I mean, I feel sorry for everybody that's involved with that.
It's darn hard, but I'll tell you what, the Aussies are really special. And you can say that about people. They are really special. They're hardworking and they will take the tough task and do it.